I'm back at it, analyzing hurdling technique from 7 different athletes from different countries with different ability levels and different issues. There's some interesting ones in there and definitely something that you can relate to and learn from. Now these are quick 60-second coaching tips, but all of these athletes are hoping to get a complimentary virtual coaching session. So make sure to vote for your favorite, leave their name or number in the comments or in the description below. So let's take a look at these athletes and see how we can help them reach the next level. This is Jamaal in the black, yellow, and purple uniform. He's a senior in high school. He's been hurdling for 2 years, and he wants to know how to fix his lazy trail leg. Well, Jamaal, I'm glad you already know that your trail leg needs fixing because I was going to have to tell you about that. Yeah, it's all wrong. You have it hanging underneath you rather than out to the side, and you're just letting it dangle there and float and drop down to the ground here. Now, it's good that you have it tucked, but you need to swing it around to the side rather than having it underneath you. And it needs to stay high at this point as your body sinks into the ground. So when you land, it should be up at about your chest height. I recommend going back to the starting board with your trail leg. I would do some wall drills followed by some walking drills over hurdles, and then skipping drills and then running drills. I'm going to send you a link to my hurdle drill library that has all these drills for you. If you can get this fixed, I think you're going to do really well because you look fast and athletic. This is Anthony. He's a high school sophomore. He's been hurdling since the 7th grade. Just overall looking for some pointers. Well, Anthony, you strike me as somebody who has a lot of potential here, but I definitely can find some pointers for you. The first one is right here. As you step into the hurdle, you immediately stick your arm over your head. Definitely not a good idea. You want to remember that hurdling is just running over the hurdle. So as you're running to the hurdle, you just want to do one quick over the hurdle and back to running again. You don't want to do anything that's different than that and throws off your balance. I also can see that you're swinging your lead leg from around the right side. That tells me you might be a little bit too close to that hurdle. And the fact that you're still coming up on it and you don't reach the peak until right here when you're past the hurdle is also telling me that you took off too close to the hurdle. This is actually not a bad look right here, although you're too far away because of what I just talked about. Not a bad first step here, a little long with the second step. This is Beck. She's a 9th grader who's been hurdling for 5 years. She wants to know how to get more speed out of the blocks and between the hurdles. I actually think that your steps to the first hurdle look really good. And I also think that your steps between the hurdles are also really good. I do think you're going too high over the hurdles, so you're losing some speed there. The other thing I would focus on for you to get quicker is your trail leg. Look at this point right here where you're pushing off the toe of your lead leg. Notice the position that your trail leg is in. Here's another snapshot of another hurdler that I want to contrast you with. Notice that right here when she's pushing off her foot and only her toe is down, you can see that her trail leg is still in a powerful position with her thigh parallel to the ground. And this is showing a lot of power going into the first step. So I'd go back to the drawing board on this trail leg and work on that motion. Remember that it's your first step to the next hurdle, and it's got to be very fast and powerful. Other than those things, I think you're doing great. If you'd like to get a virtual coaching session to see how I can help you with your hurdling, I'll leave a link in the description and in the comments. Or if you'd like to throw your video into the mix to see if you can get selected for this, I'll also leave a link for that in the description and the comments. This is Leonardo. He's a high schooler from Mexico. He's been hurdling for 2 years. He's in the under 18 age group. He's not happy with his trail leg and he's wondering how to bring it down faster. Leonardo, you're actually a really good hurdler and most of the things that you're doing are very technically sound. But the way you look at this point when your lead leg touches down on the ground tells me a lot. Ideally, your hips should be farther forward at this point and yours are sitting back a little bit. You also shouldn't be this bent over at this point. Both of these are telling me that you need to push your hips forward as you come off the hurdle to stand up taller. And yes, it does seem like your trail leg should have been farther rotated around at this point. The motion of it is actually really good. So I think I just focus on bringing it around a little faster. And at this point right here, focus on driving it straight down into the ground rather than out in front of you like that. Other than that, you're doing great. This is Desean. He's a high school sophomore who's been hurdling 2 years. So your first 7 steps are really good, but your 8th step is a bit of a reach out, and you can see that you're actually kind of jumping into it. I would focus on getting those first 7 steps just a little bit longer. That way you don't have to reach so much for this 8th step and you can get your foot underneath you. Then as I see you go into the hurdle, you definitely slunk down here and you don't want to do that. You want to try to stay up tall. Also, the movement of your lead leg needs some work. You can see that right here, how low your foot is hanging. Your heel should be up by your butt at this point, so you want to definitely work on some lead leg drills. Definitely your trail leg is a little bit lagging at this point. And you should never end up with your foot higher than your knee like this. And so those 3 things caused a big speed loss coming off this hurdle. And now you're stuck in this situation of having to take big, long strides to get to the next hurdle in 3 steps. So if you could fix those 3 things, it's going to make a big difference in your speed and help you get to the next hurdles better. So all these athletes could really benefit from my hurdle technique and drill guide, along with my ultimate hurdle drill library. That way you can see what you need to fix and then find the drills that are going to help fix that. I'm going to send a link to both of these to all these hurdlers. This is Noel. He's a state finalist hurdler, saying he's got a lagging trail leg and also has an issue braking before the hurdle. Okay, Noel, I definitely see the braking you're talking about. Here's a little break right here. And even more, definitely a big step out into this hurdle when it should have just been underneath you quickly. You just might want to take slightly bigger steps for your first ones. That way you're not so far away and have to do this reach out. The other thing I notice is how you really sink down low right here. Look at this. This is not right. You want to be tall going into the hurdle, so I would definitely work on that. And the other thing is your lead leg. At this point, your heel should be tucked up by your butt, but this looks really good right here, going over the hurdle well, but your trail leg is lagging at this point. And then also you're squatted coming off that hurdle. Those are 3 pretty fundamental things. If you can fix those, you're going to be even better this season. This is Skylan. He's a high school junior, and he wants to know how he can keep his speed and go faster between the hurdles. Let's take a look. The first thing I notice is you take kind of a scooting motion with your legs running between the hurdles. So don't forget that this is really a sprint and the hurdles are just an extra step in between them. So there's a big long scoot going into the hurdle. Look at that, with your foot way out in front of you putting on the brakes. And then your lead leg is swinging through straight versus this long swinging limb that's lifting you up. And also you need to tuck your trail leg in more because you're swinging it around too open and it's ending up behind you, so it puts you off position. Now if you could fix those things, you're going to do really well. That's it. I hope there was something in there for you to learn from. Again, make sure you vote for your favorite. If you'd like to check out my hurdle technique and drill guide, I'll leave a link for that in the description and the notes. Until next time, Coach Ace out.